Hi. Hello, 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 hello. Hello. And in case you didn't catch that, hello. This is hi. This is Strim. I don't know if anyone's here, it doesn't matter. Lazy Wednesday. Nice chill Strim. Excellent for VOD times. Yeah. You already know what's gonna happen. So let's put on some music. Let's put on that old Louis Jean. He's not old, he's young. Well. Don't know how quiet to make it, because music's all over the place. It's fine! Where are we going? We are going to here, where things are. Swoosh! This is what we were working on last week, and as you can see, I've done bugger all in the time between. So we're just going to carry on with it, because why not? I can't remember what any of these layers mean, so that's good. That's real good. Very helpful. I've also recently rearranged things on my desk to do something else, and now everything's in the wrong place, and it feels wrong! Okay, what is this? That's part of the head. Let's try and amalgamate some of these together so that I know what's where, roughly speaking. That all seems good. Oh yeah, I said I was going to redo these scales because they were too small. Let's do that. Also, I realised that I interpreted a bunch of stuff wrong, so let's just delete that. Okay, so okay, just gonna be chill times. Doing this on the wrong layer. Hooray. Good start. Good start, everybody. I would have noticed soon enough, but given what I'm going to do. Do not take that as a general statement of my ability, because I mess up constantly. Actually, maybe it's better if I just rough this out and deal with the consequences. The consequences. That feels better. Feels like it makes a tad more sense than what was there before, but now, again, I have to make it make sense. So. This doesn't feel very relaxing. Louis, what are you doing? There's Akiro! Hello. How is Akiro? Hopefully doing well? That's more like it. It's Christie's Quack Song. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. It's far more important. We're just carrying on with what we were doing last time. Trying to get this done. Big old amphibian friends. I think I may have done the base skin a bit dark actually, so... Bit better. Then the throat decided to trade problems. Nose is clearing out finally and your throat hurts again, so coughing a lot. Oh dear. Well, at least the nose is clearing out. That's good. Hey, bear! And the sore throat can hopefully pass with time. How goes? Hey! How you doing? I'm trying to remember what any of these layers are. Is there a reason they can't be on the same layer? No, it's fine. While I'm here, I will also make this the nostrils. How's everybody? How's their Wednesday been? Took a second to remember what day it was. Not very focused, but okay. I know the feeling. Cool. I'll do the glasses on a layer above. Then I can do a trick. He says as though it's anything clever. No. Yep. These are purely aesthetic. Which unfortunately means I have to make them look nice. Bloody circles. Time isn't real anyway. Well, unfortunately people still use it to set appointments and things, so we do have to pay attention to it. It's a bugger, I know. Hang on. Close enough. Now...
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Hide it under some seaweed. No, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under some seaweed. No, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under some seaweed. No, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
I was wondering when that was going to crop up. Hi! Hi, Chip. Thought I'd put that in there for fun. How are you doing? I had the choice. I had to assemble this from like tiny little chunks. So it was like, this little light of mine, that was one audio file. I'm gonna let it shine, that was another one. So I had to choose how long it should be by assembling it. And I thought, well, in for a penny. I stopped before, what's his face joined in? Glottis. You're welcome. That's what I do it for. Okay. Let's just have folders for bits, so I don't have to worry about stuff. Yeah, how's all going in the world of world? This layer, that's for that. So I could probably get away with. Whoops. Ah, that works, cool. Oh, no, it wouldn't. Yes, okay. Trying stuff out. Right, okay, cool. Fantastic. So... It's like, sort of... yellowy. Have arrived at the part of being sick where things don't really hurt anymore. You just kind of feel like you're made out of heavy jelly. Yep, that's the your body is trying to get everything back to normal bit. Which, hooray! This is progress. Things don't hurt. That's good. Should I do this as cheese? And I don't know how to end a sentence, I just say cheese. Okay, I'm going to do this differently to how it's originally planned. He says as though there was a plan. Okay. Collar edge and inside has its own layer. I'm not going to remember that when I come to shade it. Slowly get in there! Yeah! Emphasis on the get in there. Okay, and now where there was skin, I can put in shirt. There's a layer beneath, which is technically separated. More importantly, separable. But actually, let's make the cuff, yes. Let's make that its own thing. Close your gaps before you try and fill a bucket. So apart from looking after themselves and eating soup, what have people been up to today? What's going on there? Okay, there's the little waistcoat. That's just okay. There's the collar, that's waistcoat. Okay, it's just slightly weird perspective. That's fine. I can deal with that. Again, give the cuffs their own layer. Watching at the yesterday's stream. Hope you enjoyed. Doing some chores. Can't believe the Muffin Man showed up the moment you left. I did think that as it happened. I was like, oh, now we find them. And there's loads of them. It's not just a Muffin Man, there's bloody loads. Typical. Comic work, post office, and you started Duolingo. Yes, I saw you followed me. I will follow you back, I'm sure. Yeah. Good job, boy. What you studying? What do you intend to study? Okay, that could be the cuff layer. Although to see what I'm doing on it, I should probably do that. I do quite like the effect of fondant, but it is a massive faff to get right. That'll be behind the leg, that's fine. And then we can go back to this layer and get ourselves an arm or something. Again, I would probably, if I wanted to be so inclined, I would probably do a bunch of this on separate layers. To hell with it! What would save future Crispy 5 minutes would save current Crispy a lot of hassle. French! You made the French friend and decided to use the opportunity. Nice! Are you gonna do what I did and have the same impetus I did for learning a language, which is to annoy a friend by saying half a sentence in English and half a sentence in their language? Still haven't gotten good enough to do that. But that is my ultimate goal. I'm getting there. Well, I'll say that. The lesson that I started this morning was on separable verbs. Verbs that are kind of two parts that you can occasionally split up and sandwich around other things. And none of that information stayed in my head at all. So, might be a bit of going over that one. What's being grabbed here? Nothing, it's just a fist. Good, cool. Sorry, it's a weird sound in the corner of my room. It's an experiment that I did earlier today that hasn't, in its current form, worked very well. I've been friends for a year or so, decided to give it a go. The goal is to read the French memes and websites she sends me. Aww. My goal is, I don't know, read some Donald Duck comics. But one of the goals is apparent in a couple of weeks, so And I'm sure that'll go fantastically. Assuming everybody's in fine health, of course. Tired of opening Google Translate, fair enough. There was that cool thing that Jib shared on Tumblr earlier today of people aestheticizing, is that a word? People applying the same sort of aesthetic that they do to social media posts about like Japanese food, but with Dutch food. Just to show the absurdity of it all. That's fun. I was helping a Ukrainian woman get more comfortable with the language, not real lessons, just more comfort, and sometimes questions get asked. Inseparable verbs are tricky. Made you laugh. It made me laugh. Well, yeah, they got a point. Right. What else can we do on this layout? We can do traces. Or is it worth doing that on our layer above? Well, let's work from the top. We need the waistcoat. That's probably the next thing, right? Yeah. So that's the collar. So do it here. Oh, I already have it. I'm not fond of that color. I don't think that's right. That's better. Fetishize Dutch culture for funsies. No, at least one writer who learned English so that they could read more fanfiction, so whatever works. I know somebody online who learned Japanese because they were a big fan of a game that had not been localized, and by the time that they were good enough to read the game, it became localized. Hi Ragnar, how you doing? Yeah, that's great. No, hang on. No, that's just a random line. Okay, cool. No, I'm on the wrong layer, everybody. In fact, I should actually be on a new layer because I want to be between those two. Okay, cool. Well, no, let's not be snooty about it. Oh, I can be snooty about that though. No, I don't. Well, I'll screw it. Less time umming and ahhing and more time actually drawing. There's a lesson I needed to take away from my work. That's probably a good one. So now good. That's coming underneath the collar. Not underneath the arm, but that's fine. We can forge our own arm with blackjack. You also have another slightly less close French friend who makes a webcomic in French, so another reason. Aha! Multiple reasons. Nice. They have learned some English in school, but honestly, most of your English education came from you wanting to watch English YouTube channels and read fanfic, so valid. Reading and language comes in 4 parts, basically, and each of them requires its own impetus for you to actually want to learn anything. And reading is reading. Doesn't matter what you're reading, whether it's a novel or news bulletin or fanfiction or whatever. If you want to read it, it's reading. Just decided to continue learning after the game got localized. I'll talk about you there. Oh no, I'm not. I wasn't talking about UK, right? But hey, great. You decided to continue learning after the game got localized because there are more things that won't get localized and you want to learn. Yeah. Also, if you ever try and learn Chinese, a large portion of that knowledge will likely go straight towards reading fanfiction. I mean, Chinese in terms of pure numbers, is probably a decent one to learn, because it's a pretty popular language, all things considered. Do I need another layer? No, I'm just going to do it on the same layer. This is fine. This is one of 4 characters I need to paint. Not be getting this tied up. He says drawing a tie. Why aren't there more interesting forms of tie? That's my question. Because it is just whatever can keep your collar connected, right? And people have all these elaborate ways of tying knots into one single length of flat fabric, but you've got these ones as well, with the little medallions holding together a piece of string. People should come up with fun tie styles. Anything that can tie. You're only really forced to learn how to speak once you met all of you. And you're doing great! I would not have noticed that that was your sort of first consistent enforcement of speaking English. So, yay! Then again, judging by that sentence, I'm not a very good judge of it, am I? Also trying to learn Spanish, dude. More easy to talk with a friend who lives in Argentina, and a couple of other languages too, slowly. It takes time, But you're doing it, that's the important thing. Probably actually going to interfere with the collar, but that's not the end of the world as we know it. And I peel brine. Wouldn't have known you. For that you'd only ever spoken in your English classes. And a little bit of school, but as it turns out when you attend a class where everyone has the same mother tongue, you're going to speak that, and not the language you might be supposed to speak. Yeah, exactly. But yes, Skiro, I was referring to a streamer I follow. I don't know them personally, but yeah, they learned Japanese to I can't remember what game it was. It was a very specific game, and they ended up playing it in Japanese because they'd learned Japanese, so why not? But apparently it took them. It was an RPG, and it took them twice as long because you know, different language and all. This needs to be darker, really. Oh yeah, I did say I was going to do that on the same layer, didn't I? Whoops. Came back to my movie pretty quickly. I'm trying to judge colours based on a finished image. What I should actually do is I should get the finished image, the original one, this one. Go back to the original file and just turn off all the shading, and then I've got the colours. Hooray! But am I going to do that in it? There's a miss! What if it's the same as you, some of the Trail games? I don't think it was Trails. Because I very heavily associate those games with you, so... Ow, is a miss! Make things easier for yourself. Go colour fishing. Well, we've also got to decide at some point what colour male lizard is. I don't think we've done a colour picture of male lizard. So that's got to be a thing. I think the trousers are the same cut. This needs to be redder as well. It's not too yellow. Good. Okay. Well, it doesn't matter too much. Like, this is supposed to be a relatively quick picture, and hey, it's me. Okay, I know how I'm gonna do this. What's going on here? Okay. Yep. A lot of that's going to be covered by the coat, but precisely how much, I don't know. We'll find that out as we go. Since when have I ever made anything easy on myself? Yeah, good point. They're whatever colour I need them to be. Fair enough. Miss has a suspected cold and a cough and thinks that's going to become something. Oh no. Got your ginger tea with honey. Medicine, you've had a hot shower, so we're all good. Yeah. And all the good bits. Right, let's do stuff. That needs to go under there. And I can't be bothered to do another layer, so we're going to do that like this. One day I should actually think about how belt linkages work, because I just draw them as a strip of leather with a square bit on the front, and that's not how they work. There are actually two pieces of leather, or whatever material it's made of, meeting at that square bit in some sort of fashion. I don't wear belts, so... not something I often consider. Hope it turns out to be nothing E. I think being in a room with 15 under 10-year-olds for Pokemon Club last Friday was ground zero for whatever you have. Oh, that's probably just... they're always spreading their joins. Fingers crossed it's nothing serious and it's just one of those standard annoyances that goes around. Belts work however you want. By levitation. So precisely how clasps work, and something like this, right? Already looks a bit wonky, but it's a belt. He says going in to fix how wonky it looks. It's fine. Pretty sure your niece and or nephew got you 6 weeks ago. All you can hear is Billy Connolly making fun of Scotsmen and their security by wearing braces and a belt. Hey, nothing wrong with being certain. I wear neither, as it happens. Because I like to be uncertain. I am a Chaos Gremlin. That's not true. That was a lie. I lied to you. Okay, I'm only a Chaos Gremlin on stream and like when chatting with friends and stuff. In real life, I'm very like, things need to be structured. Gosh darn it. It's like when we met up, we're like, yeah, we're all here and we're friends. Yeah, it's all good. Oh, hang on, we're all Chaos Gremlins. Nope, this isn't good enough. I need to organize bus timetables. Grateful for my sacrifice. It wasn't a sacrifice, it was quite, again, like it gave me something to focus on, you know? Some sort of element of structure. It was therapeutic. There are other things I probably should have done instead, like, you know, gone out to get some proper bread, but... You know, you win some, you lose some. That leg should actually be a lot bigger, shouldn't it? Go like that. No bread, only friends. Hey, when we eventually meet up in the Netherlands, we'll get proper bread. You will show us proper bread. In fact, actually, one of the sentences that I want to say taught me, but I've forgotten it. I could probably cod assemble it, but recently was the bakery on the corner sells really good bread. So it's an important thing. I could probably assemble it because most of the words are basically just English with a slightly different accent. Bakkerij. Om de hoek. Verkoopt. Heel lekker brood. I don't know. You will not partake in proper bread, but you will sniff the proper bread. That's the best part. Heel lekker brood? Is that right? Very tasty bread. Every time lekker comes up, I read it as tasty, even though it's used for more than tasty. Because that was the first time I came across it. And gosh darn it, it means tasty now. What's this? This is that. So I could probably actually... Because I decided to give this character's trousers a, like, tail trouser. So, that's there. That's another one that keeps tripping me up, actually. Trousers and glasses in Dutch. Because they're quite rightly, I feel, singular. You know, in bril and broek or whatever it is. And it just keeps tripping me up. Because I'm like, oh yes, some glasses. No, a glasses. What? Again, perfectly reasonably, but... Anyone else have any fun language things that they've learned recently? There's only one, but it's pair. It's a pair of glasses. Unless you're wearing multiple for some weird reason, yeah. Well, that was one that was slightly ambiguous. It was like, we see through means of our glasses, or we see through means of glasses, I think was the sentence. I can't remember what's, yeah, we zien door middel van Brilla, I think. But like, I would say Brilla, but I think it was un Brill, because they're supposed to be saying like, no, you see through means of glasses. That's what it would be. But obviously they were referring to the person's glasses, which is a singular. But I was thinking in the abstract of like, yeah, just glasses in general. That's such a weird sentence. They're trying to teach me like, yeah, through means of the door middle van, or whatever it is. No, door middle. Yeah, door middle van. Oh, there's one of those I always get wrong. I always put van and it's Todd, and I can't remember what it is. Oh, as opposed to, in tegenstelling tot. That's it. And I always do in tegenstelling van, which makes no sense. Yeah, it's the one. Then the sentence, look, this is a jacket. Nice. I don't know how to exclaim look. That sounds great. I guess. See. Zine. That isn't. I've forgotten jacket. But do I know jacket? I'll say pack. That's suit. What's jacket? Yes. Yeah. Yes. Coat, isn't it? Shall show shackage. Nice. Shall show shackage. Still getting confused when they add what? No. Huh? No. It's been a while. Side note, you probably say in tegendeel tot instead of in tegenstelling tot, but that's just pedantics. No, I like to learn the sort of formal proper one, as well as the one that, you know, you would actually say. Yes, is coat, right. So one specifically for jacket instead of coat. Hi, Christy! Sorry, we're talking Dutch and I've completely forgotten this is a stream. Right, I guess that's the colours for whatever that character's name is. Todd, Axel, one of the two. Hello! Let's do the middle one. I'm gonna call him Todd for now. Not Sal, it's the only thing we know. Not Sal. Not Sal. Not Todd. Not Axel. That's it. That's all we know. From that point on, it gets complicated. Slightly bluey. Let's try that. Okay, let's make this slightly redder, slightly more desaturated, or slightly less saturated, depending on your perspective on life. In Gallic, you have jacket, shackage. Well, that was close. I'm starting to learn. And coat, kota. Nice. Added hilarity. Just keep changing the names. Yeah. Sometimes just jacket, jasje, little coat. Jakje, or jakje, not jakje. So, yeah, hang on. A jacket is a jakje, or little jacket. In Spanish, it's la chaqueta. Chaqueta, nice. Oh, whoa! I know. I thought it was one of the W's because I didn't recognize it. Yeah, they swap between the other two, and occasionally some other ones for nefarious gangster purposes. This needs to be slightly redder again. I very much overestimated the bluishness of this hue. Hue is also not their name. But then again, we could spend ages talking about what their name isn't. This track always reminds me of Gautier for some reason. Also, here's the thing I learned recently, which is very handy for when I'm doing stuff like this. If you color picking in Clip Studio, and you want to go, oh, I want to click that color, but you're not entirely sure if there's like an overlay layer. So like if you want to go back to a layer that you've done before, and you want to redo something in a particular color, but like you've got maybe overlay layers, or you've got this sketch layer on top, and you don't know if that's affecting the color that you're picking, and then you try to pick the color, and then you go, oh god, that's not the color I wanted. Oh no. You can. Hello, tools. Obviously, the one that I want to show you is off screen. I can fix that. That's the wrong one. There we go. No, why are you still there? Hang on, I can cheat. There we go. Pick up color from layer. So you color pick from the layer that you currently have selected and ignore everything else. So if you're working with a bunch of layers and you just want that color that you know is on that layer, boom, got it. Life's grand. Right, let's set this back up again. Whee. It's real good, very helpful. The only problem is I keep forgetting to swap back. And then I'm like, why isn't this working properly? So, oh yeah, I got the other one up. The skin tone still doesn't look right, but that's fine. We'll fix it post. Now what we want is the higher. Which I'm going to go with sort of that. And I'll do on the same layer. That is too saturated. Always hit all the overlay layers and whenever you have to do that, and then have to turn everything back on afterwards. Yeah. Same then. And now we have tools! There might actually just be a way to flip it over here. Ah, yeah, that's an easy way of doing it. If you go down to the... If you go down here, this isn't going to move, is it? Yeah. If you go down here, you click that, and it's just selects from the current layer. You could do that instead, if you wanted to, instead of changing the tool. It's effectively the same thing, but because I think that's probably the only difference, right? Yeah. There you go. I need a Clip Studio tutorial OBS scene, so that I don't have to keep wibbling things around to show stuff out. Show stuff off, out, in, around. Shake it all about. Why am I thoroughly messing up colors? Look at him, smug so-and-so thinks he knows what he's doing. The little scamp. If they did the job correctly, they'd be more than a little scamp, but thankfully they don't. Right. Thankfully they are also a fool. The best kind of gangster. Now, it does technically have some of these going around the sides, but the arms are up, so you won't see those. Sal and or Todd. Definitely not Axel. Classissimo. I do remember trying to get the colours for the clothes on this character was real tricky. Trying to balance it all out. Because they're wearing like... They're wearing an overcoat, a coat, a waistcoat, shirt, tie. Obviously their skin tone. Ha! Just a lot going on, you know. Not enough coats, try again. Yeah, yes. Nope, that's the wrong coat. This coat's going this way. And that's the other coat. Which, given that this is going over, I need to define the line of the other coat here. because of Leia shenanigans. That's where the leg is, so that doesn't matter. Yes, Leia shenanigans. What does a supervillain get up to in the privacy of their own home? Why, Leia shenanigans. Wonder how useful coats are to cold-blooded creatures. Coats all have heat pads. Yeah, it's a thing. The lore is all... Thank you. The lore is all planned out. Oh, speaking of Badum... And again, this is a tenuous recommendation at best. I've finally gotten around to actually watching one of the things on my to-do list, to-watch list. Well, half of a thing on my to-watch list, which is Series 6 of Inside Number 9. One of my favourite TV shows. Just haven't watched the last 2 series. But I have watched one of them now. Haha! And my favourite episode, which is the first episode of the series, is... And I don't... Generally speaking, you can spoil these episodes quite easily. I'm going to intend not to. So the description I'm going to give you is verbatim from the episode in the first, minute. It's a cross between Commedia dell'arte and a heist film. And the mixture of... the mixture of, the gritty, dark, heist... sort of brutal heist story that's going on, and the absolutely ridiculous Commedia dell'arte jokes and slapstick and all that sort of stuff happening is just the best, and I just immediately thought of Miss while I was watching. Commedia dell'arte, I say. Yes, I do, with masks, hence the heist. I believe I'm gonna say something rude here, so again, verbatim from the episode, which is also going to tell you a bit about how the episode is presented. I believe the quote is, "It's like a cross between Commedia dell'arte and a heist film," which is rather clever if you think about it, although it does sound a little bit like something that a high school drama teacher would have a wank to. So... it's self-referential. I believe the next sentence was, "But hey, it's Series 6. You got to give some license for artistic exhaustion." Series 6, Episode 1 is called Wuthering Heist. It is Inside Number 9, so it can get dark, but it's also very silly. And I loved it. Pun. Oh, you have no idea, miss. It is not a very good representative for the series as a whole, which is kind of the point of Inside Number 9. They're all different. But yeah. I feel I can quite heftily recommend that one, because it's just very silly, but also really gritty and weird. It's a strange juxtaposition, and it works, in my opinion. But also, if you like kind of interesting, gritty... not gritty, but interesting, dark stories and anthology shows that have a different sort of setup every single episode, where you have no idea where it's going until right at the end. Can recommend Inside Number 9. Just remember, it gets real dark. From the very first episode. It's on iPlayer, if you have that. In fact, they have a bit about that in Wuthering Heist. Don't worry about it. License for artistic exhaustion, should be as big as Hakuna Matata. Yeah, exactly. Want to watch it, but they took it off Hulu. Oh no! But yeah, it's one of those things where it's I want to recommend Inside Number 9 to everyone because it's one of my favourite things on TV. However, the issue number 1, it can get real dark, and my stuff tends to be quite silly and whimsical, and Don't think it's like my stuff. Just because I like it. But also number two, well, and number two, you need to be able to watch it. That's why you got the app. Forgot why you went to the trouble. But it's also an anthology show, so it's like every episode's kind of different, really. It's going to be very sort of on and off, and some. I don't think there's any real consensus as to what counts as a good episode of this show, because it's like, what is it supposed to? The conceit, I should probably explain. This is by Reece Shearsmith and Steve Pemberton. They're two of the League of Gentlemen, if you've ever watched that. They did Psychoville as well, and can, hand on heart, say I don't really like either of those. So. The fact that I like this is very strange. And they're in every episode, but the conceit is that every episode takes place inside number 9, whatever that means. So either inside house number 9, inside booth number 9, room number 9, hour number 9, day 9, whatever. And it's all takes place inside one enclosed environment. And usually there's twists, not always. Sometimes there's many twists, sometimes there's none. Sometimes it's very hyper-stylized, other times it's completely realistic. You have no idea what you're getting into in any given episode. But like I say, I don't mind spoiling that the first episode of Series 6 is the cross between Commedia dell'arte and a heist movie, because they literally say that themselves at the beginning. You're allowed to like things different to what you make. Absolutely, obviously, but I feel anxious recommending it. You know what I mean? Just in case somebody thinks it would be like my stuff. I'm allowed to like it. I just get worried about recommending it. So yeah, that's my blanket warning of like, even right from the very first episode of the first series, they go some dark places, and I'm not, you know, I mean, they do murders and all that sort of stuff, but I mean dark. And if you don't like those sorts of things being in something that's supposed to be a comedy, that's the other thing I'd say. Again, I've never really got into League of Gentlemen or Psychoville, because I guess I just have a different sense of humor to the writers. But this show is so well written, it doesn't matter that I don't find it funny. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be a comedy, but it's a comedy I don't find funny, and yet it's my favourite thing. That's how well written it is. But Wuthering Heist actually was very funny, so. By far the funniest episode I've watched. The amount of bubbly kawaii people into the goriest. Yeah, it's people like the extremes. It's fun. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. What's that? Oh no, your VPN expired. Oh. You often like dark things and get anxious about recommending it. Yeah, it's one of those things I just keep having to put the disclaimer. This ain't like my stuff. Well, not like most of my stuff. Did watch Julius to be... Oh, bugger, I knew I was supposed to do something today. No, I didn't. I will watch it tomorrow. I'm busy tomorrow morning. I can do stuff. It's fine. I will at some point remember things. It's very me. Watch it full bedtime movie. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. After the stream. Oh god, is that the time already? I'm not going to finish this at all. I was hoping to get this finished. That ain't happening. Okay. Just skip to Julia's if you want. 17 minutes. I've been meaning to go back into Drawfee. I'm happy to take recommendations of episodes to hop back into, as usual. That goes there. Then we have the trousers, which should be something like this. Make it slightly red for the sake of thematicism. That's not a word. Like that. Then we have the coat. Yeah, we could do the waistcoat on there. Why not? We'll go under the leg, that's no problem. Feel like that should be darker, but it's fine. Banger episode, nice. Fondant is a slow process. Why about it? You should watch the episode they did before that, where everyone had to guess which cartoon character Julia was drawing. Fair enough. Like I said, I'm busy tomorrow morning, so tomorrow afternoon I'll do stuff while I'm watching. And then I guess in the evening as well. I don't know if there will be a Chibi Nethers Day tomorrow, for obvious reasons. There might be, but I don't know. But if not, I can watch it then. Don't know yet? Yes, but best play it safe. It'll be lovely to hear from you, but it'll be even lovelier knowing you're well. You know? That's the thing. That's the takeaway. Am I gonna need a layer behind just for the hands? Probably. And I can use this for the feet as well. I guess which character Julia is drawing is very funny because Julia is very competent but not, not remembering cartoon characters. Really? You surprise me. From my experience of Julia's drawing, her memory is impeccable. If there is, it'll be incredibly low energy. Yeah, we're fine with that. But at the same time, even better if that energy is spent being cozy and recovering. Julia draw Pokemon with the tummy hurt. So that was my introduction to the Drawfee, was the Pokemon from memory, as I'm sure it was for many people. Yeah, Chib getting better is important. I was going to add another layer, wasn't I? That's that. That's that. Wait, hang on. Oh, okay. Fine. I got everything ready for the undercoat to be under the overcoat. Turns out that's not happening. Turns out the undercoat is going to be over the undercoat. No, the undercoat's going to be over the overcoat. The overcoat's going to be under the undercoat. That's the one. Because, you know. Planning. But it's not going to be under the overcoat's trim. I still need to follow the line roughly. I don't want to need it there, do I? I want it to go there, under that leg. It shouldn't be doing anything with that one. Let's do that. Actually, I don't really know what the inside of this coat is doing. So what I'll do... They dropped the sheet music. Blah, 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 blah. That's why he said if he. Can't remember if it was the Pokemon vids or the Bad JRPG vids that got you into Drawfee, but it's definitely one of them. I remember, yeah, the Bad JRPG, Pokemon, and Wiki Roulette. They were the ones that sort of... They were my first group, but definitely Pokemon from memory was... Spheal was my introduction. But I draw for a while before that. It wasn't the Facebook OG, but you remember the Super Simple Beans format. Nice. Maybe Jazza was your introduction. Nice. Stopped watching for bits for a bit, then came back to Jacob and Julia being on the show. God knows when it was, though. Oh yeah, Thomas the Kitty Sky, yeah. They're fine, what's the problem? First episode you watched of them was Nathan and Caldwell doing an Undertale episode. Ooh. I did, yeah. That was a cry laughing situation. Pokemon from memory was a time, good time. Trophy's good. Have I ever mentioned that? I should watch it more. But hey, I still got another series of Inside Number 9 to watch. So and that'll be faster, because that's 6.5 hours, you know? Nothing so hard, you had to pause the video because you were dying. Hey, Julia hears words and translates them into drawing. This is the best thing in the world. It's perfectly straightforward. There we go. Got there eventually. Okay, so that's that. Then we have that coat. And then the trim. So I guess this leg just has to be on top of all of it? Sure, why not? And what I'll do, oops, is I'll paint on the inverts colour so that I can see what I'm doing. This field is creepy balding guy who sells phones in a mall, yeah. Got a phone kiosk. Yes, a skeevy feel, I believe was the phrase. Yeah. Yeah, skeevy feel up, there we go. It's something you're only able to make out what I meant this year, yeah. It's not the first thing my brain would jump to, but and that's why Julia's special. Is that the... No. I have a tie, some buttons, and probably the ponytail coming out the side. That makes sense. Sure. What layer would those go on? So this would need to go on a layer above, so we put it there. Be slightly brighter red. Help define where collar is. Very vivid red. We could put the bouton here. Enough. They got, yep, got a little. Little chain. The heck is a skeevy feel up? Feel up is groping. Skeevy is like kind of greasy and yeah, creepy, sort of. Makes it even just. Do you want to know what I see? Do you want to know what I thought of? Yes, unwelcome. This feels a lot less awesome. But then I was gonna do something here. What was I gonna do? Pinstripes. That's what I was gonna do. Thank you. Thank you for telling me, everybody. Put these on the clipping mask so I can get them wrong if I want. That's how that works, right? Are the trousers pinstripe as well? They're not! Hooray! Also, their legs got a lot longer in this picture. Yeah, they're squashy, stretchy friend. Tail! I haven't bothered drawing their tail. Probably be a thing to do, wouldn't it? Where would it go? Here? Makes sense. Let's not do it on that layer. Let's do it on that layer. Then on this layer. Keep looking at your profile picture and thinking you need to update it, but honestly can't think of what to draw for it. I haven't drawn a new avatar, like deliberately drawn a new avatar for about 2 years. Yeah, it's been for a couple of years. Exactly. Like, sometimes that's good for branding. Yeah, PFP is profile picture, which implies that the word profile is 2 words. Me, I'm profile. I'm anti-loose paper. The only time it changed was Halloween past. There's more than me. More feral goblin. Make it of a goblin eating chocolate cake. Or fudge. I was gonna do something with a ponytail, wasn't I? So what's this? Ah, that is the edge of male lizard's tail. Just happens to go alongside the arm. Good, not forgetting anything. I'm going to call you Sal for now, so that I can keep track of things. Ponytail, maybe. You've yet to find one more suited to you than a Night Theo. That's fair. Make a new icon and do a VTuber debut. All the cool kids are doing that. Yeah, I mean, I have the... Is it here? This one? This work? Ah, yeah, there we go. Kinda works. Put myself above chat. There we go. It took me ages to get this working, and I was going to do it for a joke, and then it broke as soon as I finished doing it. It must have been like a year ago now. They're here! If I make a loud noise, rah! They turn into the Muppet. Just pull it out of the pocket. I've shown this off before. I say I did this bloody ages ago. Maybe I'll put it up for when we do chill morning streams or something. Never seen it, but it's there now. This was the inspiration for why my Parsnip turns into a Muppet during the group streams. Still split on what social media platform to bet on. If you're going to place a bet, it's probably a good idea to place a bet on a little bet everywhere, unfortunately. Well, I haven't used it before. It was going to be used for a joke for something, and then the day before I was going to use it, it broke. OBS updated and everything broke. So I just sort of never used it. And then I eventually worked out how to fix it, by which time the use was gone. Whatever it was. Should have showed us. I'm sure I did. I'm sure I've shown this off on stream at some point. It's nothing too complicated. It just checks the volume and opens the mouth according to the volume. And by opens the mouth, I mean I drew 5 pictures. And just cycles through them. What I could do is I could have it check for particular frequencies of sound, so that if there's like a very high-pitched one, it's like an S, and then teeth will come down. And all that sort of stuff. I was considering doing that, but time. I swear it looks familiar. See, Kira knows. Or suspects. Miss, turn yourself into a sock puppet goblin. Yeah. But it isn't just 2 frames. You gotta have the wide variety. The problem is it's a bit too sensitive, so occasionally it just has the massive open mouth. Just when I'm just getting... See, there's no reason for it to do that, so there should be some smoothing on it somewhere to try and reduce. I think if I do S's, it's very erratic when I do S. Yeah. Stuff like that, you know? It's a very amateur thing, by which I mean I made it. Right, the other one. And by the other one, I mean the other Amphibian, who I am, for the purposes of this drawing, calling Axel. Correct or otherwise. Not Todd. So that's we know it's not Todd. Start with this as a basis. And more yellow? Maybe more yellow? I mean, I always get this wrong anyway, so let's just jump in, see what happens. How does this compare? Too saturated. Color will come from the light. Slightly too dark as well, that's too light. Now it's too red. Yeah. If I was just staring at the art, yeah. I was just watching, what am I doing? What is this? This is a silly idea. Yeah, I'm gonna have to filter out high frequencies. I think that's what's messing it up. There were only a couple from that fight, Chib. Don't worry about it. Okay, and on top of these, we shall have the pattern. Whoops. Oh, yeah. Turn on reference layers. Always good. Do that in shading, that's fine. This pattern was clearly invented for one particular angle, and it wasn't this one. That probably. No, it's too red. It's too red. Maybe. Or was it just too light? I'm really bad at comparing colors, everybody. It's fine, don't worry about it. suppose false advertising. Bots and what? Who?
Misopened commissions.
Misopened commissions. Commissions. Yeah. Commissions. This is not a drill. Can't be shush. You put it on social media. That means it's public. What if you opened commissions though? Yeah, and all shit. I'll have you know. I have permission from Miss. What if all shares are deeply appreciated? All shares are deeply appreciated, so we're gonna share it now. Look, Miss can do real good stuff. Oh, that's good. I haven't seen that before. A little friendly owl. Cool gobbo. E. Everybody commission Miss. You know when you draw things and don't share them? No. I share everything. Nothing's personal. The only thing I haven't shared is a horse. I also now look at the screen on top of here and I realise how different the colour is on this tablet to the other monitor, so that's great. Good stuff. Why did I stop that there? Putting the eye over the top. In fact, let's do that now. Yeah, everyone commission Miss. Do it now. I dare you. Ha, joke's on you. It's not actually a thing dare-like. This is actually a really good thing to do. Commission me. No, it's fine. I mean, the money would be appreciated, and I'd quite like to make things for you. That'd be cool, but... Hey, Mrs. there. Be going the other way, wouldn't it? Thank you, Sketch Crispy, for showing me the error of my future ways. Or present ways. They were future at the time you did it. Time to use that trick. We'll share the same £5 note, pass it round and round and round and round. It'll eventually all get eaten up by PayPal. You know this. You could get Mr. Drawbran. Oh, Mr. Drawbran really well. Can confirm from my brain. Eee. What am I doing? Hat. Probably right. I probably, while I was doing the sketch, thought, ah, that's alright, I'll fix this afterwards. Although drawing a colourful bowler hat now made me think of the Avengers. Now I want to watch the Avengers again. Now I've remembered that I've started writing a story with the Outliers based on the Avengers, and I want to do that. You can splurge on this. This is for your health. Yeah, miss, don't you want Chibi to be healthy? Hmm? Do you want Chibi to get better? Well, you know what to do. I'm kidding, you don't have to do anything you don't want to. Don't let people coerce you into doing things you don't want to. It's not healthy. But at the same time, you should. How cheeky am I going to get with this? Not that cheeky. Let's not. Instead, just splosh it all in one go. As for future Crispy, to hell with that man. I hate him. He's the one that keeps living. I, as soon as this moment's over, stop existing. Future Crispy, he gets to carry on. Very unfair. You should be behind him. Them? I don't know what their genders are. Oh yeah. Sorry, that might look like I just didn't realise there was a massive gaping hole in the thing I was trying to fill bucket, but there was a different reason. It was equally stupid, but different. You hold the right to refuse commissions. You do if you want your friends to be ill. Snip saying, hmm? Happy bran juice. Brain bran. Mmm. Love me some brain bran. Yeah, that could be on the layer above, sure. Also, that should probably go underneath the collar. As indeed should this. Have you had your brain bran today? Now, new brain flakes. Someone lifts Bran up. Does that mean it's Raisin Bran? Ah! Jokes. Without wishing to spoil too much, this is why I wanted to recommend you this episode of Inside Number 9. Tapeth leave to you two. I have no idea. You're welcome, I'm guessing. Oh, thank you. Close enough. This is the same thing, right? Thank you. You're welcome. It's all the same. Tapalay. Nice. I tried to add a fun pronunciation to the letters I didn't know, and it turns out you just don't say them. What am I doing? That's quite the question. How existential do you want me to answer it? Trousers. Not entirely sure that's very existential, but... Same colour as the top hat, which should be slightly bluer now that I look at it. Yep. Oh no, that's too blue. Double D, double die. No, I don't want that. That should be good. Okay, right. Facts! Oh, it's been a while since we've had a fact. 1861. Really should have done these in order. Oxygen levels in the human womb are similar to those at the top of Mount Everest. Warmer, I would say. But, warmer, I suppose. So survivable for most Sherpas. I wouldn't phrase it like that. Hey, do you know your womb is survivable to most Sherpas? Fetuses will make great mountain climbers. That's the other way around you could go. We're all born natural mountain climbers, and we just lose it over time. Should I do things? I mean, in general, yes, but... That's risky, but I'm going with it. Cool, I did, to think when I started this stream. Also, hi, Hill Dragon. To think when I started this stream, I thought, cool, maybe I'll finish this on stream and then we'll get to randomize and get a new thing to draw. And that'll be fun, a nice little sort of to be continued. Yeah, no, that's not happening. I think I'm going to finish colouring it. That's that, so I'm going to have to put this up here. I mean, it might be worth me waiting. No, I want to get a little video out, and this is going to be part of it. So it might be worth waiting to shade this on stream, but At least show you how I do it. Not that it's very informative. Who brought wombs to Mount Everest? Any climber with a womb? I guess. You're distracting. You have company. You're pleasant, enjoyable company. This is probably a bad idea. It is. Nope. That, on the other hand, was a terrible idea. Turns out the opposite of that green is pink. What am I doing? And new womb. Also looking at a great pen book and having fun conversation is an alphabet. Did I flip the values for the green, or were I just saying? Yeah, I inverted the colour. Which means I subtracted it from white. Just so I could see what I was doing. And then I flipped it back. So it's like taking the photo negative, I guess. That is too saturated. Good enough. Probably not going to be exact, but I can sort that out in post. Also, I think in Clip Studio you don't actually have a default command to flip values. Oh, the opposite of the brown there is blue. Yeah. I don't think there is a default command for that. No, there was in Photoshop, so I set that up to be a default command of Control-I for invert. But I guess you can set it to whatever you want. I've just remembered that I think I had to do that, but manually, when I first came over. That's a very annoying ending to a song. Well, so the fact you're doing this lineless both intrigues you and stresses you out so much you're a slave to your lines. I basically have 3 ways of working, of like the normal line comic stuff that I'm sort of most comfortable with. Then this, which I basically just invented for Honcho, which became my fondant way. And then the sort of painting, just slap colour and or black and white on until things work. How many fingers does the toad have? 3. You don't actually really see them here, do you? Right, now I've got to work out what's going on with the other leg. Just need another layer underneath that. That. And does the shoe... It's gonna be on the same layer. Can I get away with that? I mean, I can, I just have to be careful, but that involves me being careful. Also, I guess I should be more careful about that. I'll go back and do that. It's fine. It's fine, don't worry about it. It's fine. Stop panicking! Stop it! You're making me panic! Why are you doing this? Once again, there's a 2.
Everything is fine.
It's fine! Fit the other shoe. Shoe? Shoe fit? Fit shoe? Shoe? Shoe. Waistcoat shenanigans.
No, it's not. I'm going to hit the button and help.
No! No, there's the button! Oh yeah, I had to clean this up, didn't I? Is there a backing colour? There is! There is a backing colour, and it's very similar to your skin tone. It's probably going to be a problem, but... no, actually, it's slightly lighter and bluer. There we go. Anyway. Back to what I was doing. What was I doing? Drank the baby! Where did that come from? I don't remember that. And also pockets. Oh, bugger. Methinks it's cheating time. Wonderful. I'll fix it in post. Can also do buttons. Excuse me, I need to borrow your medallion. Thank you. I'm easy about that, I think. Excuse me, I need to borrow the rest of your medallion, please. A lot of your own quotes today, and you don't know how to feel about that. You're very quotable. Well, that's a recent one. Doggo's snuggling up on you. Doggo. Gave you one of the ones you added. Yeah. Yeah, it's a Hellpoint stream. The big blue ball. That was also from the Hellpoint stream. Good doggo and snuggles. Snuggle with doggo. Good times. Just about get away with that. Scooch it over a tad. Smush it up a little bit. Enough. I think this is looking alright so far. Gonna have to have in-depth conversations with Chibi about the colour scheme of Male Lizard. Also, hey, you know that thing that was going around of like, hey, you can make real easy laces and things by using the stroke tool, the stroke modifier on layers, where you can just go and add an outline around things. Another thing I like to use that for is seeing if there are any bits that I have forgotten to erase. They show up as big old blotches. Or bits that I haven't coloured in properly. That also works. Just pick a contrasting colour to the things that are around it. Also, actually, while I'm here, let's sketch back on. Let's get these lapel pins, not lapel, collar pins. Save so much time. It's good things. I always, whenever I'm doing like a digital painting or something like that, it's very good for that because I'm a very scribbly painter, and so when I finally start refining the actual shape of the thing, I'm like, well, I've probably forgotten to delete an awful lot of scrap around the edges of this thing. Right, so there's all that. I guess I don't need to add buttons because I could do those just manually in the shading part. Just draw shading around a spot and then the buttons will be the same color as the shirt. They'll just pop out by shading. So let's not do that. Instead, we could do these chains, I suppose. Let's see if my chain thing still works. What I made for the last big video. Not like that, it doesn't. Put it on this layer. Okay. Well, it sort of go up there. Ooh, it comes in there. Pretty nice. That works. Starting to realise why I didn't adopt fondant as a default style. This image is flipped. And I haven't done a bunch of scales on the big guy. Forgot that as well. So much cooking necessary, I know! Hopefully it'll look jumpable. Working on 2 zine pieces recently, and had to have them about 50% completion, which translates to line art and flats, and maybe some lighting in your mind, because of the virus and the conjunctivitis you got, there were so many points during the colouring where you noticed bits of line art that hadn't been properly erased. Had to individually erase every bit you found as soon as you found it, and likely still missed some. Yeah, do an outline with... I usually use like a bright pink. Very, very noticeable at that point. Similarly for colouring, actually, just put a layer underneath the colouring that's bright pink, and you'll usually find bits you missed. So for instance, because I know somewhere that this is going to work. If I were to just go blah, 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 that, I can look for patches where I may have missed some colour somewhere, like there on the foot. That's supposed to be flush. Oop, did excess there as well. But I was mainly looking at this bit here, which I could... Hang on, I know a way to solve this, I think. No, not really. So what I'll do is I'll cheat. Just paint underneath it on a completely unrelated layer. Marvelous. And get rid of the pink. That's going to be weird in the time lapse, isn't it? I am recording a time lapse, right? Good. Think of it as it's good stuff. Usually have a bright background colour for colouring, so you don't miss anything while colouring. Yeah, I tend to have a colour in the background which is the general lighting of what I'm doing, like just the average. You know, if it's like a dark nighttime scene, I'll have a dark blue, which is why I've got a sort of dark bluey here. If it's bright and outside, it'd be nice to have a brighter colour as a background, because then you tend to choose colours for the characters relative to the colour of the scene. But if you know exactly what colours you're doing, then yeah, absolutely, go ahead. But yeah, I've found it's helpful to if you don't know what colours you're going to pick, set the background tone to roughly the background tone of the scene you imagine this to be in. And then that's handy. Let's actually finish this character before I sign off. So what's left to do? Pinstripes on the waistcoat, jacket, whatever this is. Which are lighter than the main thing. Also, if you have object select instead of whatever this is, move stuff, object select, which is more for using intelligent objects or whatever they're called in this. That just allows you to select a layer by clicking it. So if I want to know what layer the shirt's on, I press O for object select, click it, and now I'm on that layer. I can go. Ooh. If you're doing something like this, that's real time saver. Do that in shading, that's fine. Slightly less there. No, these need to be finer. Also follow the contour slightly better. And this is where we run into some issues with this pocket. I decided to put it on this layer because I was lazy. And I believe the collar has a darker pinstripe. No, it should be different there. What happens here? Comes into that, doesn't it? I don't know how collars work. They were holding hands. They are kidnapping male lizard here. It'd be nice if there was actually a layer that could be drawn on. That is male lizard who is being kidnapped. This is based on an old sketch from the thing, Project Via, which is here. There they are harassing the player character, and there they are stealing male lizard, who is nonplussed about the whole event. And I randomly generated a prompt for a thing to draw, and it was drawing this character again, and I decided, well, chat helped me decide to draw this scene, but for some reason I decided to do it head on instead of side. Nice flat side view, because, I don't know. Auto-sadomasochism. Only 13 gold! Imagine living those prices. To be fair, gold. It's pretty expensive. Couple of lines from one color overlap to the other side. It was just while I was testing out a brush. But that's underneath the collar, so it doesn't matter too much. Yeah, there. It's hidden by it, so. What else am I missing? Bow tie. Which is the same color as this, and down here I'm going to take a slightly darker one. It needs to be above that. Okay. Manual edge here. Actually, that's a bit of a hole in the thing. Fix that. And the layer below. Awesome. That would be going behind the arm.
Crisp.
Hello! Am I missing anything? What am I missing? Am I missing miss? In the middle? The pinstripe's in the middle. 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 Go from one collar to the... Oh, I see. Yes, you are correct. Fantastic. Thank you. Many thanks. Gonna look for a few. So if you've gone before I'm back, have a good one. Well, I've still got the arms to do, so probably not. Enjoy your luck. Alright, so that's on that, so I'm gonna need to do this thusly wise. That's easy enough. Just gets hidden behind. And I may, if I've got time after this, do the scales on Big Friend. You're the lowest layer here. That's the sketch layer. You're the lowest layer here. No, you're the lowest. That doesn't make sense. You're the lowest layer. I'm Spartacus. Okay. Got foods! What foods you got? Okay, new layer lower. New lower layer. What is up with this fill bucket? It's only area scaling to 1. That's what the problem is. Honest. I guess Male Lizard's going to be over this character, so that's fine. So just a big ol' glove-looking thing. That's fine. Think that's all the colour on you, even though your colouring is the wrong way round. Don't worry about it. The gloves and the shoes are too yellow and too saturated. Meatloaf, potatoes and gravy leftovers. I've never had meatloaf. Is it good? Oh, you know what? Guess who didn't follow his own advice on this picture? Look at that. Look at those little mist bits. Little layer of purple underneath that, and I would have spotted it. Terrible. Delete, Ben! Burn down the Project VO website. Right, okay, let's do these scales, and then we'll call it an Eve. I don't know if it's the right recipe, but when your mother made meatloaf, it was always a mixture of ground beef, tomato paste, oats, and probably a couple of other things. Very messy, but tasty. A lot of the best foods are. Sounds delish. Not really meatloaf, but a weird Danish dish you can't really explain better than meatloaf. That's fair. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, again, I don't know what meatloaf is, so... Let me just double check how things are doing on the arms and the legs. Turns out I haven't actually drawn this character's arms out yet, so I'll just put scales where they were in the original. Not there, that's for sure. Ah, I forgot to watch the end of last night's stream. Last thing I can remember clearly is you taking out the Muffin Man and stashing him in a cupboard. Yeah, some things happened. Got to keep the muffins fresh by stashing them away. It's a common sense, exactly, and that also includes people who make them. Because if you let them go stale, they'll make stale muffins. Makes sense? It just makes sense. Not on the feet, right? Yes, on the feet. This is why you check these things. Because I will get letters of complaint if not. People will be coming in demanding my resignation. Hounding my door. Hounding at my door. Hounding me at my door. They're not after my door, I don't think. Not sure how that's... Is that how that works? Can somebody explain cancel culture to me? Pretty sure it's something to do with doors. Muffins go in a baggie on the counter so you can eat one every time you cross the kitchen. How can they live without scales on tootsies? Exactly. I keep saying you can't live without scales on the tootsies, but no, apparently it's called athlete's foot. Always check details on your OCs. I posted a whole finished piece only to realize 2 days later you've forgotten the significant facial scar. Yeah. Always. I was going to do a stream actually, we were talking about this somewhere. Oh, I'm covering up a bit of chat actually. I forgot that was there. Yeah, we were talking the other day about drawing your own characters. And I did seriously consider doing a stream at some point of drawing my own characters from memory. Because I wouldn't get them right. I'll forget things. Because I've got just way too many characters. And I do, outside of the outliers, I will definitely get them wrong. The outliers I've drawn enough, it doesn't matter. But any other character I will get wrong. You know, even like another character I've drawn on load is October. And definitely going to get October wrong, because where do all of the stitches go? What body part is what colour? Which arm's the big one? You know? I don't know these things. Sunday stream, we would give each other our own characters to draw from memory, exactly. Yeah, okay, well this is I'd say 3/4 of the colour, that's not fair. But it's a decent quantity of colour. Let me get rid of me. Yeah, there's a decent amount of colour has happened. Language? Here is kleur. It is kleur-like. You win! Hooray! If one character in a design was never fully established. Hurrah! You can't be wrong. It is sehr kleur-like. Sehr? I don't know that word. They didn't teach me that. I know Mia. Wait. Very? Isn't that veal? Heel. I always get heel and veal mixed up. But now there's Zir. Birth month. Bonth. Birth month? What? Eyes. Portal strap. Yeah! That will be slightly under 2 weeks from now. Assuming Chibi is still up for it at the time. Obviously, circumstances, we'll see how things go, but fingers crossed. I'm excited. Don't be, it'll be a mess. This is the time I actually make Chibi explicitly angry with me. Bomph, what's wrong with Bomph? We'll both be so confused, absolutely. If Chib can't, someone else steps in, you'll still have to do it all in Dutch. Yeah, exactly. It'll be a thing. I'm kind of pleased now that I've at no point played the co-op campaign, because I have no idea what to expect. Because I'm gonna guess it's not just gonna be like things that could be solved by one person. We are gonna have to like use like different. We'll have like 4 portals, and we'll have to do stuff with that. It'll be fun. In theory. Nothing wrong with both. You try, I guess? Don't know much Dutch, but you played the co-op campaign several years ago. Right, we can work with pings. That's the thing, is like if we're both like just like we can just ping. Just keep pinging. Generally curious how short it'll take before you say a sentence that just completely loses me. The loading screen. You confused me with the zeal. Like, I mean, to be fair, I know I can whatever. I do. Try and ascertain the meaning of a sentence by the words around the words you don't know. But yeah, we'll work stuff out. We'll work stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna finish this off stream probably tomorrow. Maybe. We'll see. And then hopefully make a little video, just a little quick video of the time lapses and some little lore bits and bobs of the last 3 of these that we've done. I feel like it's nice to do like little videos of a few of these in between the bigger videos. But yeah. Whew. Swoosh. Or swoosh. Really looking forward to us experiencing the co-op stuff. Yeah, me too. I mean, to be honest, I'm just excited to play games with Chib. That's always fun. Regardless of the language barrier. The artificially placed language barrier. Hey, look, if Chib basically learned how to properly, like, converse continuously in English in order to speak with us, I can theoretically do it in Dutch. It's the least I can do. So, I mean, to be fair, I was never taught Dutch in school, but whatever. I can do it. Ik kan het doen. Something like that. Grammar's always... That grammar's going to be the problem. I'm going to get words in the wrong order. But yeah, so as for the future, the near future, I don't need to press that. I'm still doing it wrong. Still. Always get this wrong. That says hell point. Hang on. I can fix this. I can fix this. With there, and then with the streams, that's where the things are. No, it's not there. No, it's in web. No. I have a very good organizational system. Hellpoint's fine. Don't worry about it. To turn it off and on again. There we go. We're gonna play Solero, hopefully, maybe. If everybody's all good, if everybody's feeling good and up to it, we will play the wonderful game that is the Dungeons and the Dragons Solero. That's what it's called, right? Something like that. Yee. And we've got our characters there. Already, we made those off stream because it took a while. We didn't want the first hour of a stream to be that. The Dongans and the Organs. Exactly. I know all about the Dongans and the Organs. So I'm well equipped to be standing at the back and listening to what Chibi and Dark have to say. Dongles and organs. It's the digital mortuary. I don't know. Yeah, it took a good hour or so. It's fine. I understand all of the things I did. Anyway, yeah. So, depending on Chib health, maybe no Chibi Nether's Day tomorrow. In which case, we wish them well and nice, happy, cozy times in order for lovely, cozy recovery. Dongles and Organs is probably the TOS breaking version of D&D. But yeah, certainly, yeah. There was that game Organ Trading Simulator. That was a thing recently, wasn't it? So yeah, there may or may not be Chib Netherstay. Who knows? Chib should get rest, regardless. But Saturday there may or may not be Solasta, again, depending on the rest requirements of friends. Otherwise, maybe more Hellpoint. Who knows? Spoilers, I guess, for if we do play Hellpoint. We played a little bit of it on Discord on Monday, and we might have killed a couple of gods. Don't worry about it. But yeah, and then Sunday, doodles with friends. Tuesday, more Hitman. And Wednesday, not this, because I should probably have finished this by then. Should. Pulls a weird face. I know you can't see my face, but I'm pulling a face. I have tried a webcam before, but my face is most of the time. I've talked about this. I have resting serial killer face. It's just not interesting to look at, and my posture's terrible, and I don't want to be reminded of it. Actually, I do want to be reminded of it so that I stand up straight. All right. Anyway, my face is fine. A £50 penalty. Yeah, I'm gonna shut up now. Have a wonderful time, everybody, and I will see you whenever I see you next. Have a grand old one. Just get a VTuber, problem solved. I'm here! Blah! Blah. Blah. Anyway. Very squimsh, 10 out of 10, but hang with again. E. Same! Friends are good. Who'd have thought? Bye.